In an icy wasteland, a carriage brings an orc criminal to a giant fortified prison. Then he meets his cellmates, the bard Egen, and the barbarian Holga. Ejin's friendly and warns him to behave, but the orc still attempts to make a pass at Holga, who responds by breaking his knees and smashing his face. The following day, Egen and Holga are brought before the Absolution Council for an appeal for their pardon. Egen begins by telling his backstory to give context for why they're there. Years ago, Ege was a member of the Harper's faction, a group of spies that fought against evil pro bono. By day, he'd eavesdrop on mercenaries, stop bandits in their tracks and bring the and red wizards to justice. By night, he'd come home to his wife, Zia, and the daughter Kira. Zia didn't mind the fact they were poor because she thought Egen was making the world a better place. One night, Egen came home to find red wizards riding away. When he rushed inside, he discovered Zia was dying, and with her last strength, she told him she hid Kira in the wall. That day, Egin's devotion to the oath died as well. It was hard for Egen to raise Kira alone, and he kept going to the tavern to get drunk. Until one day he met Holga, who was banished from her tribe for falling in love with an outsider. Holga took pity on the baby and accepted to help Ege and raise her. But they never became a couple. They had a relationship based on mutual respect. They tried to live honestly, but surviving was getting hard. So Ege and Holga resorted to thievery. They started by robbing jewelry shops, and when they put their hands on a necklace that let you become invisible, they gifted it to a now older Kira so she could stay safe. Kira started to come to the robberies with them, and eventually they recruited new team members like Sorcerer Simon and Rogue Forge. This allowed them to hit bigger treasures, but they still had rules. They never harmed anyone, and they only stole from the rich. Things changed when they met a wizard named Softener, who requested their help to rob Karen's Keep, a Harper stronghold filled with riches. While Ejin refused at first, Forge convinced him when he told Egen that the keep contained the Tablet of Reawakening, which he could use to bring Zia back to life. Since this place was more dangerous than usual, Egen told Kira to stay home, ignoring her pleas for him not to go. If the threat was that big, he didn't tell her about the tablet just in case the plan wasn't successful. The team easily broke into Karen's Keep, and Softener immediately grabbed a weird, glowing horn. Egen grabbed the tablet, but this triggered a trap that made all the guards appear. Softener breaks the rules and knocks down all the guards before using a spell to stop time, which traps both Holga and Ejin. Before the others run away, Egen throws the tablet at Forge and asks him to keep Kira safe. As Ejin finishes the story, the last council member finally shows up, who turns out to be a bird-like creature. Ejin and Holga don't hesitate and jump on him to break through the window, using the creature's wings to escape safely, ignoring the fact the council was ready to approve their pardon. Now free, the duo returns to their home, finding it's been empty for a while. After retrieving Egin's loot, they go to the tavern to discuss how to find Kira, and thanks to a flyer, they learn that Forge is now Lord of Neverwinter. After a long riding trip, they make it to Neverwinter, which is preparing for the annual Heisen Games at the Lord's Castle. They reunite with Kira, who is more excited to see Holga than her own father because she thinks Egen abandoned her for selfish reasons. Then they reunite with Forge, who explains he used the riches stolen from Karen's Keep to make himself the Lord of Neverwinter, and Softener is working with him as his advisor. Egen then learns that Forge has been telling Kira that he was arrested for stealing riches, and not because of the Tablet of Reawakening. And to make matters worse, there are wanted posters for their heads proving they weren't just released. Legally heard over being lied to, Kira runs out of the room, and Forge announces he won't give them Kira or the tablet. Ejin and Holga attempt to attack Forge, but Softener uses her magic to trap them on the floor, revealing that she and Forge had been working together to betray the rest of the team. Back during their last heist, Forge orders his guards to imprison the duo, but Softener changes the orders to execution behind his back. The duo is taken to an alley for the deaths, but Holga lifts a tile from the floor and uses it to fight off the. Her barbarian skills make it an easy battle for her, and soon all the men are unconscious. Then she steals an axe from them before escaping with Egen. Meanwhile, Forge tells Kira that Holga and Ejin abandoned her again after getting the tablet. Moments later, Holga and Ejin agree they must rescue Kira and the tablet from Forge, and for that, they'll need a team. First, they go looking for Simon, who is performing silly magic tricks for entertainment. But these tricks are actually a diversion, while he casts a spell to steal the audience's gold and trinkets. When Simon sees his old friends, the shock makes him fail the spell and the audience catches on the trap. Furious, they try to attack Simon, who tries to defend himself with magic. He isn't a very good sorcerer though, and as spells go wrong, first he sends the people up to the ceiling, then he ends up flying through the window himself. Luckily, Holga is ready outside to catch him. The trio runs away, and Simon accepts to help, but he points out that his magic isn't enough to stop Softener. To get inside, they'll need a druid, and Simon knows one. Later, the trio arrives to see a druid about to get killed. Suddenly, a horse goes crazy and transforms into an owl bear, revealing she's Simon's friend. The creature quickly beats up all the soldiers and saves the other girl before taking her normal form named Doric, and escaping on an actual horse. The trio later meets Doric at her home in the Elven Woods and learns Doric doesn't trust humans because her own family abandoned her for being a tiefling. However, she hates Forge more because he's been destroying the forest and killing her people, so she agrees to help. Meanwhile, in her private quarters, Softener reveals she's an evil red wizard and speaks to her master, the Lidshaw's Tam. He entrusts her with their ultimate plan, for which Softener has been manipulating Forge to bring back the games.